Hari Om Ji Namaste. Sadashiva-samarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yes, so welcome back everyone to the class. We are on chapter 4. We are in chapter 4 and we are seeing verse 15. We just concluded last class. So we will be starting 16th verse today. Vedanta gives answers to one's existence. Any question anybody can entertain regarding one's own life and experiences that one has. Can you hear clearly? Okay. Because it is a question mark to all of us. Where have we come from? What is this happening in life? The inequality seen, the divisions seen, the uncertainty seen, the need to understand also felt. Bhatkan means what would be a good English term for bhatkan? Not wandering. Wandering has a very positive connotation also. Bhatkan means in search, trying to search. We are tossed around. Lost is good. You're tossed around in trying to get to figure out just one's own life. Many people actually say, if only I understand things better earlier. There are many things and many decisions or choices that one would make differently, which on growing older, we see things differently. But it's not a rule. Fact is, whatever you see at any stage, the question mark will always be there. Bottom line is the uncertainty regarding one's existence and the mystery around it. We only know that we open our eyes for a short period of time. It looks very long, but between 2 days, there is a night where everything, all life, just quietens itself, sleeps, slumbers. And on that sleep, I have no volition. I have no control over it. If I'm deprived, it can it can lead to my death also. That's one way of torturing people in concentration camps. And those days when they did, they would not let people sleep to punish them. The slaves were not allowed to sleep, etc. This sleep I have no volition over. It's beautiful. We have divided our day into 24 hours, from sunrise to sunset, and then night falls, where each one at some point of time closes down the world experience, closes down the me experience, I experience, just closes down all interactions. What a beautiful way nature has provided. Since I have no volition over it, I just find myself tossed by it. Just as when water is flowing down the uh, in a river, and boulders come, stones come, fallen things are in it, fallen trees, logs, etc. The water is just splashed and tossed around. For every living being, mystery remaining the same, the question regarding one's existence to each one remaining the same. All of us having absolutely identical experience of waking up and identical no control over how I fall off to sleep. Absolutely no clue about what is this life and what am I to do here? What am I to actually spend? I seem to be having given the gift of time. I seem to have something which equips me, but I don't know what to do with it. Everyone has the same dilemma. And Vedanta is one knowledge which clearly addresses all these concerns for good without any doubt. And not only that, not only gives intellectual clarity, paves the way that this birth, finding myself awake and finding myself going off to sleep, finding myself once again born tomorrow, I have absolutely no guarantee that I wake up tomorrow. Yet, I'm certain there is a tomorrow. How contradictory is that? I do not know whether I wake up tomorrow or any one of us wakes up tomorrow. If this interaction is our last interaction, none of us knows. Which one will be the last interaction? None of us knows. Yet, there will be a continuity after that for others. That someone's discontinuity, it's like, on a chessboard, you have these pawns moving, and then you have these soldiers knocked off, knocked off, knocked off, knocked off. What is this that you can understand on your own by one's own individual thinking when we do not know what is the past and we do not know what is tomorrow. Forget next life. What tomorrow has to bring, we do not know. Yet, there is a body of knowledge, there is a knowledge which clinches it in complete clarity, intellectually and experientially, brings the individual to all these recognize the point where all these questions dissolve themselves away through knowledge. That whole process is what takes digestion. Learning at the level of intellect itself is tapas, because there are filters that you have to keep taking away. There is so much knowledge floating. Every verse, even in the Bhagavad Gita, we have so many sampradayas giving their own versions of it. The Dvaita Sampradaya will swear by the fact that this whole Bhagavad Gita is only oneness with Krishna. There is a Vishishta Dvaita Sampradaya which will swear by the same text that this division between Bhagwan and Jiva can never be united. It can never become one. Jiva and Ishvara can never become one. But Ishvara keeps manifesting in the world and comes in the form of higher beings, whatever words you want to call them. Often, obviously, in our context, it would be gurus. And that guru, that higher, can be parent, anybody that you look up to. That is your contact with Ishwar, that Bhagwan. And that is only way you can grow. Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Madhavacharya, Madhvacharya. Everybody has their own way of looking at it. Even intellectual clarity of what could be the right understanding of these words, so that that knowledge can lead me in my choices, in my utilization of my life, pran, breath, so that before the time when that knocks off our chess gone, soldier gone from the chessboard, at least in this chessboard, we are a few of us moving together, one, 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 one. So finally, one of us, another chessboard will open up somewhere, whatever happens. How that consolidation of this life to be kept on the path shown in a way by Krishna said in the Moolam, and the interpretations is a wrong word. The explanations that the acharyas have given, which sampradaya connects with us. For those for whom Dvaita sampradaya connects, Advait makes no sense to them. It's better that you keep to whatever sampradaya connects to your intellect, your understanding, and stay true to it till the end. Even if you do not understand at the right time, even if you do not understand, it takes years to understand. But the first step is your understanding, your intellect must tally with it. Whether it's Vishishta Dvaitam, whether it's Dvaitam, whether it is Advaitam, whether it is just Bhakti Marg, whether it is just Loka Seva, whatever tallies with your intellectual understanding, which actually is your own gunas. Whatever tallies in your gunas, your present state of understanding, remain true to that sampradaya till the end. Till where that sampradaya can take you. Whatever its last point would be, if you are true to that, ultimately in Advait alone we come to recognize it's only crossing, as Mundaka says, you only cross various stages of intellectual moh, confusions. You stick to one, you go through the end of it. At the end, you realize there is still some incomplete knowledge. You pursue the next clarity that comes in your. Once you grow, to grow out, the understanding of the next level appears. Advait is that knowledge which completely does, having crossed all others in a way, stages of your own development, you come to this point where knowledge is your source of guidance. He said here, whoever in this process of learning, knowing, understanding, it's like seeking help, but not from a finite, intellectual, ambiguous, or temporary state of knowledge, but actually looking at that which has proved itself in the past. That is why he gives the example of Janaka, etc. That this knowledge is not something that has just come emerged now. There are so many new bundles of knowledge that have emerged, even recently. Which was the last one I heard? Something to do with dimensional shift, shift of consciousness, shift of dimension. It's a whole process starting out. He said, do not follow the ways that modern times means those who follow the path of senses, what road they walk on, जिस रास्ते पे वो चलते हैं, what becomes the basis of their choices, you do not take to that, O Arjun. You stick to what choices your ancestors, those ancestors who are now popular in society, accepted as Gyanis, know what choices they took, how they did what they did. You, even if you do not understand yourself in your intellect at the moment, take those examples and keep yourself on that path. Therefore, he said, for that ultimate final point where you will conduct your actions in a way that these actions do not bind you further. This knowledge will help us to understand what are the changes to be to be made in oneself, so that I'm able to get freed of the realm of karma, bondage. What is that? He says, whoever knows himself to be a karta and has no phala spriha. This is the fundamental. We hear it a billion times, but the process of discovering it within ourselves, कि मुझे अहंकार करता नहीं बनना, नहीं होना, I'm not a karta. This statement, I am not a karta. And however much I know, na phala spriha, that I am not to have any attachment to the outcome of my action, I still have some spriha for result, which prompts me for the action. These words, whoever knows aham akarta, name karma phale spriha, these are two words that he's explaining in the coming verses, 16th, 17th, and 18th verse. He's elaborating it. I'm repeating it because it's going to get very, very subtle till the 18th verse in particular. He's now building up. You know, what is it? Aham akarta means I'm not the doer. I use the word. Atma is akarta, we know. But he said the one who knows himself to be akarta, na aham karta. 15, just before the 15th verse starts, Shankara gives us this sambandh. Na aham karta. I'm not the doer. Just to say I'm not the doer, does the doership end in us? Does just by merely saying I'm not the doer of this action, has any change happened in us? I'm not the doer of this action. I'm talking, I'm not the talker. Is it even correct? It's factually wrong. You are talking, you are a talker. Then how do I understand na aham karta? This is a very subtle perceptional opening. खुलती है कुछ in the analysis that comes with the help of Shankara and Madhusudanji both. In the next three verses, the analysis opens this sambandha that Shankara has given. Beautiful. Aham akarta. How do I understand this? Atma is aprameya. I cannot know it. And yet, Atma being akarta, I am an individual. While I do an action, am I to say I'm not an actor? Yes, through Karam Yoga, I have learned maximum I can do is offer my action, my capacity, my intention, my will, my prayojan, everything I can offer to Ishvara. Ishvara, I project first in my mind. I connect that all this is tapas. I first project an Ishvara, I accept an Ishvara, I attach myself to that Ishvara by constant repetitive action. I allow the bhav to flow towards Ishvara. I bind myself with mama to that Ishvara, and then I can offer easily. Then I can offer easily my karma to Ishvara. But will it make me akarta? Na aham akarta. Na aham karta, sorry. Na aham karta. He says, Evam gyatva. In this manner, whoever does karma, kritam karma, what happens to them? Moksha se ashubhat. They get freed of moksha. But point is, just by merely knowing I'm a karta, I do not become a karta. Therefore, Krishna says, I am going to explain what is karma, because karma cannot be done without karta. Karma presupposes karta. Where there is a karta, karma can be done or need not be done. Karta takes the choice, I will do or I do not do. In both these instances, by saying I do not do this karma, does that make me a karta? Very subtle. I'm also trying to be very, very careful that I use the right words. I'll repeat. The bhumika. Bhumika means the background is. He says, whoever knows, does action by saying na aham karta, na me karma phale spriha, will eventually become freed of samsara. Eventually, step by step. The last step is freed of samsara. The starting step is freedom towards samsara. Freedom from samsara. Movement towards freedom from samsara. He says, karma, I will now explain to you. Why? Because karma cannot be done without karta. Karta has a choice. I do or I don't do. मैं करूं या ना करूं. Now, akarta, na aham karta means akarta. Aham akarta. So when I am a karta, if I do but natural, I am a karta. But if I don't do, does that make me akarta? That is the question. Just by abstaining from doing karma, that abstinence of action, will it make me akarta? Because then I will be freed from ashubh. Krishna says, have na aham karma karta, sorry, na aham karta bhav, na me phala spriha, and you will be freed. Now, if I am doing, I am a karta. If I don't do, मैंने नहीं किया. As I keep saying, start interpreting it and start seeing it in your mind. मैं कर्मा करूं तो मैं करता. If I am doing a karma, I am a karta. Understood, common sense. I am the doer of this action. But if I refuse to do, I don't want to do this, I refuse to do. That refusal of doing karma, is that my state of being a karta? Without this knowledge, trust any sincere student since generations who have attempted this path, they know this is their first doubt when they start applying this knowledge in life. If I don't do, and many months, years, and janmas, probably people can be lost in this. They'll practice what Bhagwan said, you should not have karta bhav. Because I do karma, I get karta pan. I increase my karta pan. So I will not do. By not doing, our assumption and our conclusion is, we jump to the conclusion, मैंने किया नहीं तो मैं अकर्ता हूं. Do you see the connection? मैंने किया नहीं तो मैं अकर्ता हुआ ना. मैंने किया ही नहीं तो मैं करता कहां हुआ. Kriya means there is a karma. And if I am not doing, I am a karta. Is that a karta state? Enough if I keep practicing, keep reducing. You find many ascetics. We saw in Bhajgovindam also. Many ascetics in places of pilgrimages who will sit in great tapas, saying that I will not do anything. Will that be adequate to relieve from ashubhat? So Krishna says in the 16th verse, before that, he says, there is something special to be known about karma, the topic of karma, which is what is going to bring the 16th verse, because this topic is very sukshma, that even those who are great seers, जो जानते हैं, वो भी समझ नहीं पाते. They also do not understand this clearly. What do they not understand? Kim karma? What is karma? Kim akarma iti. Iti means questioning it, quote unquote. What is karma and what is akarma? Kavayaha api atra mohitaha. Kavayaha means those who do a lot of vichar, mimamsa, thinking. As I just started the background of the class, this whole srishti is unknown. My existence is unknown to me. So we have had thinkers trying to understand what is life, what is this. So they bring about a darshan, a completeness of their perception, and then present it to society, that covering all these topics that confuse everybody. And that darshan, they are called kavayaha. Kavayaha is the plural of kavi. Kavi means seer, otherwise. Poet is the literal translation, but it obviously doesn't mean poet. It means a seer. Seer means a rishi or a thinker, जो, or these founders of these darshanas, in that sense, this knowledge that they hand over as a complete perception of their assimilation, which they have received from their past, wherever. Kavayaha api, plural. All these seers also, those who know, they too mohit hai. They are confused about what is karma, what is akarma. Tat, that. Te karma pravakshyami. That karma I will tell you. Pravakshyami means I will tell you in great details. Yat gyatva, जिसको जानकर, ज्ञातवा जिसको जानकर, मोक्ष से, future tense, you will be freed from ashubhat, from what is inauspicious. And what is inauspicious?
Cycle.
Correct. They say wherever you're born, whether you're born rich or poor, in a good background or a struggling background, wherever anyone is born, there are four things that everybody has to experience, go through. What is it? Janma, Marana, Vyadhi, and old age. Jara, disease, old age. Vyadhi is disease, Jara, old age. Everyone has to go through this. Other than that, there are fears of being cheated, fears of losing someone in whom you have found security or solace, fear of losing your health, wealth, intelligence, beauty, whatever. It's a fear that you go through. Then you have forces which will prevent you from doing what you should do. You want to do something, but you still find obstacle or resistance. You find limitation in what you want to do. You're not able to do everything the way you want to do. All these things, um, stress, chinta, of what? Of putra, putri, son, child, grandchild, of anyone, some chinta or the other, something that occupies your mind. All these things that are mostly being intercepted in life. Is this something we desire? Is this something that we like? Is this something that we desire? That is why it is Ashubh. What is Shubh? Shubh is something that we look forward to. Sukh, wherever we impose it on. Lastingness, security, wherever we think we'll get it. But the fact is, in creation, all this is not there. It's not there. So, entire creation, Janma, Marana, Vyadhi, Jara, whoever has this experience, and everyone has this, none of it is Shubh. So, the whole creation is obviously called Dukhalaya. Alaya means abode. Nobody likes this word. Nobody is ready to accept it actually. Very few people are, थोड़ी देर के लिए will acknowledge, but again, as long as the class is on, right. Outside, again, look for our own lollipops. Again, look for our own piece of happiness. Idhar hai, idhar hai, idhar hai, kidhar hai. Dukhalaya means what? Alaya is abode. Vidyalaya is what? Abode of knowledge. Alaya, abode. Place where there is knowledge. Vidyalaya. इस संसार को क्या कहते हैं? इस दुनिया को क्या कहते हैं? इस जगत को क्या कहते हैं? What is this world, this creation referred to in the Shastra? By our rishis, okay, by our acharyas. What is it referred to as? Dukh alaya. Of course, there is a paksha which says this was more popularized by Buddha and Buddhism, that all this is only dukh, dukh, dukh. So, to help other darshanas like Jainism, to help us quickly develop vairagyam from this. But Vedanta will accept what? These are our fundamental experiences throughout life. And these are not what we want. Therefore, this is ashubhat. We want freedom from all this. इसी से मोक्ष चाहिए हमको. Our concept of moksha is not absolute moksha. Our concept of moksha is freedom from all these limited struggles. If I have ill health, I want freedom from ill health. I want health. If I have lack of resources, I want freedom from lack. That is our concept of freedom. So he says, I will tell you karma. And Madhusudanji adds, and it makes a lot of difference to the meaning. In the Bhashyam, we'll see, but before that, since we're doing the Moolam, he says, though literally it says, whoever knows, I'm sorry, literally the verse tatte karma pravakshyami. If you just go on face of the Moolam, it means Bhagavan is saying, I'll tell you karma, knowing which you will gain Shubha, moksha. But Madhusudanji says, when it says tatte, then there is actually an avagraha that comes between these two words. Avagraha means it's an absence of a illusion of an akar. And if you bring in akar here, it means akarma. It becomes dual. So karma and akarma. And that makes sense because that's the answer he's going to give us in the next verse. So Krishna's actually telling in a nutshell, I will tell you what is karma and I will tell you what is akarma. And later on he adds another third category. I will also tell you what is vikarma. By telling all these three means I'll explain to you what are these three so that you, knowing which, will be freed from ashubhat. We'll just see the bhashyam so that you get more clarity on the verse itself, and then it stays so that when we even read the bhashyam as Parayanam, the knowledge surfaces. So he says, Kim karma, kim cha akarma iti. There is no explanation. Iti word, again I'm repeating, is just quoting. What is karma? What is akarma? Regarding this, kavayaha. Who is this kavayaha? Medhavinaha. The Medhavis. Medhavi. Medhavi means those who are thinkers. Thinkers, reflectors, who are darshaniks. जो दूर दर्शन रख सकते हैं. In normal language you would say far-sighted. Who have the capacity in their buddhi to see the outcome of the cycle of causation to some extent, who are able to relate the cause and effect correctly. Such people, medhavi, who are able to use the medha shakti. Medha shakti means the power of your intelligence, the power of your memory, the power of your buddhi shakti, let's put it. They are the kavis. जो बुद्धिमान लोग हैं, that's what's meant by thinkers. Those who are buddhiman, they are also not clear about what atra. Atra means asmin. Asmin, this. What this? Karma adi vishaye mohitaha moham gataha. Regarding this topic of vishay, this context of this topic of what is karma? Adi means to do, not to do, how much to do, what to do, when to do, where to do, why to do, all are prashna around it. And generalizing it, karma, akarma, vikarma. What are these? That is from from a shastric point of view, and from a non-shastric point of view, laukik view. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Why should I do this? When should I do this? Where should I do this? How should I do this? All the questions that can be there around karma. Actually, that karma means around karta, but let's stick to what he's saying. Karma adi vishaya mohitaha. And mohita means moham gataha. Gataha, literal meaning, if you take one of the common meanings, is goes. But gamana, kriya. But here, gataha also has another meaning, which is of knowledge. Has confused knowledge. Is confused regarding the knowledge of karma and its allied understanding. That comes, topics that come along with it, associated topics, accessory topics that are around karma. Regarding all the topics around karma, there is confusion. The knowledge is not clear. Tat ataha, that knowledge. Ataha, now. Te, tubhyam, to you. Aham karma akarma cha pravakshyami. And that is why Madhusudanji nicely in the Moolam itself adds it. Shankara says it here. Aham karma akarma pravakshyami. Of course, in the topic itself, karma, oh, I'm sorry. Tatte karma, kim? Correct. Right. So, what I have said was right. I suddenly thought the first line already has a karma, but no. When he says tatte karma pravakshyami, what he's saying is akarma cha pravakshyami. What Shankara has added here. So what will I tell you? Bottom line, I'll tell you karma and I'll tell you about akarma. Both. Yat kyatva viditva karmadi. Knowing which. Gyatva. Jankar means viditva. Knowing which. Karmadi. These topics. Moksha se ashubhat, and that ashubhat is samsarat. It is samsara. One word is samsara. And quickly we'll see Madhusudanji's only 1-2 words are different, but we get a better clarity. It reinforces. He gives the example here of person sitting in a boat. Shankara also gives it. Madhusudanji gives it here in this verse. A person sitting, traveling in a boat. When he's riding in a boat, is he moving? What is moving? Boat is moving. He is not moving. The boat is moving. But when he looks at the shore, what does he see moving? The trees, etc. Whatever is on the shore feels moving. Even in a train, when we are traveling in a train and just when it's leaving the station, If all of some remember, some of us, we would have to take 2 minutes to look out. Are we moving, or are the people? Has the train started moving, or are the people moving? It takes a little while to know. That's the example they have brought here. In those days, there were no trains, so they brought in the boat example here. From the boat, sitting in a boat, the person is not moving, but he sees the stationary things on the shore appearing to be moving. They seem to be moving. They seem to have movement. And there is a Brahma, there is a confusion. Am I moving? Is the boat moving? Is the train moving? Or are the people moving? And he gives another example where far off, if you are seeing from sometimes when we look out of the balcony in a far off garden somewhere far off, you see the person may be moving, but it looks like is not moving. You are trying to figure out, is he moving or not moving? In those days, now also, if you go on pilgrimages, etc., especially on a mountainous area. Now, when you go to Vaishno Devi, if you're at one point of the turn and you see higher points, and if there are people there, you are looking at them, they look small, and you're wondering, are they moving or not moving? They are moving, but they look stationary to you. They are walking, but they look stationary to you. That's the example you keep, those two different examples. One, what is stationary looks to be moving, seems to have kriya, seems to have karma there. And the other, what is actually moving, seems to be not moving, seems to have no kriya there. Because it's far off, so you are not able to make out the distance. It's, forget all this. In the modern science example, is the earth moving or not moving? Is
Moving.
the Hanji?
Moving.
But to
Rotating.
us,
Not at all.
hmm,
We cannot make out.
that's the example here now. Karma, akarma. Is it moving or not moving? So he says, nausthasya, sitting in a nauka, nishkriyeshu api, themselves nishkriya, because they're sitting in the nauka, boat. Tatasthe, tatastha vriksheshu, on the shore, on the tat, the tree, etc. Gamana Brahma Darshanat. Darshanat ऐसा लगता है, you see it as, you get confused. Brahma होता है, of gamana, of them moving. You see them moving. ऐसा Brahm होता है. You see the trees moving, you feel a sense of confusion there. Durat chakshuhu sannikristeshu gachat gachatsu api. Durat chakshu sannikristeshu gachatsu api. Whatever is far, when your eyes are seeing it, contacting what is very, very far, it looks as if it's moving. Gachatsu api, what is moving? Sorry, what is moving? Purusha Purusheshu agamana brahma darshanat. That person who is moving far off appears to be agamana brahma. That Purusha durat, what is far off, when it comes in contact with your eyes, when you see it, even though Purusheshu, that Purusha, Gachatu, is going, Gachat. I have to revise again. Purusheshu agamana brahma darshanat. Examples clear? Paramarthataha. Paramarthically, essentially, there is a confusion whether the person is moving or not moving. Okay? Uh, if you see the Hindi translation, जैसे नौका में बैठे हुए पुरुष को निष्क्रिय क्रिया रहित तट के वृक्षों में चलने का भ्रम होता देखा जाता है, तथा दूरी पर दिखाई देने वाले चलते हुए पुरुषों में भी न चलने का भ्रम होता देखा जाता है. While they are still moving, they are walking, but you feel they are not moving. वैसे ही, in the same way, paramarthatah, essentially, what is karma, or paramarthatah akarma iti. What is akarma? I'll repeat this. By using the word paramarthatah here, Madhusudan ji is clearly saying Brahm hai. There is a confusion. He gives us two examples of the confusion. One where there is no action but an action is seen, and the other where there is an action but you don't see an action there. So there is a confusion. What is the real? Paramarthik means what is tattva there? What is essential? What is the truth there? हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा? That Brahm is there. Is this clear? So paramarthik word means here, what is essentially the right thing? That Brahma remains regarding is there a movement or not a movement? हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है? चल रहा है कि नहीं चल रहा है? So far okay? कवयः मेधाविनः अपि अत्र अत्र अस्मिन् विषये, with this topic, mohitaha. This is where he gives a beautiful moham. What is the moham? Nirnaya asamarthyam. They are not able to come to conclusion. निर्णय का सामर्थ्य नहीं कर पा रहे. Because of constant movement हो रहा है, and there is a constant confusion, moving or not moving. How often, I mean, I can recollect that train journey. You know, it was beautiful. Just keep wondering, and then you were asking someone, "Are we moving?" You know, I remember asking my brother, "Are we moving or not?" It's like, you feel like, or better is when you get down. If you've taken a long train journey in those days, especially if you go by second class, sleeper class, if you went, and long from north to south, or even if you went from Delhi to Bombay or things like that, which was more than 18-20 hours, the minute you get down the platform, on the platform, for a little while, even if you're standing, what do you feel? You feel the train is still moving, you're still moving.
Yes, yes.
Hannah, this is the experience they are this. You have to now extend this to actual paramarthik drishti, because whoever will see this clearly is a great piece of, I don't know what to put this in words, but that samarthya निर्णय नहीं हो पाता. He says karma and akarma ko leke, we are now coming to the entire topic. Regarding karma and akarma, you are not able to come to conclusion, definite conclusion. Nirnay asamarthyam prapta. It is not easily available. Why? Prapta atyanta dur nirupatvat iti artha. Atyanta dunirupatvat. It is extremely difficult to examine. Atyant du nirupatvat. Nirupatvat means examining it. Du means difficult to examine. Atyanta du nirupatvat. It is very, very difficult. It is next to impossible. सोच ही नहीं सकते, मतलब इतना निर्णय करने का असामर्थ्यम रहता है, बिकॉज दैट टॉपिक इज सो फाइन, सो सटल, सो सूक्ष्म. And more reason, why is it sukshma? Because he's going to say in the next verse, Gahana karma gatihi. He'll say that in the next verse, so I will not bring it here. Just here he's saying, why are they confused? The first reason, because it is difficult to discern regarding karma and akarma. Simple term. Tat tasmat. Therefore, that. Tubhyam, to you. That means the topic of karma, karma. Tubhyam, to you. Karma. Now, here is what I just said, this avagraha. Akara prashleshena. This cha should not be there. It's a printing mistake, shayad. Ched, chedat akarma cha pravakshyami. Prakarshena sandeha uchchedena vakshyami. So let's say this much. Because of this prashleshena, akara prashleshena. This akar should have been here, and that akar is not seen. An avagraha in those days in the printing, avagraha was not an easy thing to print, so it was understood. So he is just helping us to complete the topic. It's nothing. Means karma and akarma in essential terms, both are going to be told. He's saying, pravakshyami, prakarshena, I will tell you properly, elaborately. Prakashit ka, prakarshena means I will say in a way that it is prakashit karega. Well illumined. In other words, clearly. Enough to give you clarity. What does that prakarshena means? Sandeha uchchedena. Whatever sandeha you have, whatever doubts you have, whatever confusions you have regarding it, I will uproot them. Uchchedena means I will remove them. They'll be negated. So I will tell you this topic, vakshyami. I'm going to tell you in the following verses. Regarding karma and akarma, in a way that it has a fruit. What fruit is there? That all your doubts will be dispelled. Because why? Yat karma akarma swarupam gyatva. That paramarthataha meant swarupatata. When you know swarupa of karma and akarma, स्वरूप से जब उसको जानते हो, when you know it in essence, in its actual state, what is karma and what is akarma, when you will know it, जानकर मोक्ष से मुक्तः भविष्यति, you will become freed. When you will know it, then you will be freed. Bhavishyati. From what? Ashubhat, samsara. Which means he's already said even the kavayaha, even the thinkers are confused. So where are we all? Samsara. That is what, because that is the cause of our samsara. And the cause of samsara we have said is avidya. And he says here, through the swarupa of karma and akarma, you will gain gyatva, जिसको जानकर, not kritva. Very beautiful distinction. In the verse, if he had said, I will tell you karma and akarma, and doing karma, you will get freed. Is that the verse? He's saying, I will tell you karma and akarma, knowing which you will get freed. That means, what is that knowing? Swarupataha. When you know karma in Swarup and akarma in Swarup, aham akarta, aham na karta. That na karta has to be known in Swarup. When you know that karta, where is that karta then? All the details is going to now tell us. 16th verse, okay, everyone? Any question so far? Should we move on? Okay, so we'll move on. Now he says here, connecting again, very important connection. Nacha evam tvaya mantavyam. Evam in this manner. Tvaya by you. Mantavyam. Think. Sochna na. Aisa mat sochna. Should not be thought by you. Do not think like this in active voice, but here it's in passive voice. Tvaya by you. This should not be thought like that. How? How we normally know karma and akarma. What do we know? He says, do not think like this. Like what? Karma nama de adi cheshta. Loka prasiddha. हम कर्म किसको कहते हैं? What do we call as karma? Cheshta. Effort put by body. Adi means indriya, mana, etc. With all our equipments, all the karanas, Loka Prasiddh, that's known popularly, accepted understanding of karma. What is karma's understanding popularly known? Effort put by the body, organs of action employed is called karma. What is akarma? Akarma nama. See, subtle things start emerging. Karma nama. What is called karma? De adi cheshta is called karma. What is called akarma? Nama tat akriya. Which akriya? What does that tat mean? Tat akriya. What is that tat referring to?
Not
But what is it referring to here? If karma is de adi cheshta, then
not using.
not using deha adi, that's what we call as a karma. When I don't do any work, exactly, body, senses, etc. De adi acheshta. Very good. That is called akarma. And what is that? Tushnim asanam. बैठे रहना. Tushni means sitting, idle, doing nothing. What winters brings out in us. Tushnim asanam. When you want to do nothing, you know, don't want to take your hands out of your warm things, etc. Tushnim asanam. De adi cheshta na karna is called akarma for us. He says, Kim tatra bodha. What is there to know? Krishna says, I will tell you karma, akarma, and then knowing which you will get freed. He says, even I know that. I also know what is karma. What is karma? De adi cheshta. What is akarma? De adi cheshta na akriya is akarma. I also know this. Kim tatra bodhavyam. What is there to know? In this manner, na mantavyam. Do not think like this, that it is as simple as this. In fact, because we think like this, can anyone complete the sentence referring to the verse we are just seeing? Because Loka Prasiddha is this thinking. Therefore,
We expect results.
okay, but
Ashubhat.
okay, very good. Ashubhat. Because we think like this, therefore,
we are in samsara.
okay.
Mohita.
Excellent. Weird. कवयः अपि मोहिताः. हमारी तो छोड़ दो. Exactly. Because we think like this, even the thinkers are confused, because this is the Laukik thinking that we accept as by default. What is there to think know about it? यही कर्म है और यही अकर्म है.
Mm.
And because we think that this is so like this, what is there more to know? And so we remain in samsara. So we remain deluded. Now clear? So he says, Karmanaha hi api bodhavyam, bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha, akarmanascha bodhavyam, gahana karmanaha gatihi. So because we said do not think like this, he says, why? Because what is to be done, karmo, you should know what is karma. All of this is no, bodhavyam. Very rarely is there a repetition. And in this verse, bodhavyam is thrice repeated with each of them.
Yes.
So you got to know karma, you have to know what is vikarma, and you must know what is akarma. Gahana karmano gatihi. Because this gatihi again is not to be taken as movement. This gatihi means jnana. Gahana, gehri hai. Gehri hai means what is the right meaning of gahana? Uh, it is
A mystery.
mystery, it's elusive, it's deep. You know, when in a cave you say, बहुत गहरा है cave. In a foggy night, आप कहते हो अंधेरा बहुत गहरा है. You know, when you're traveling in the mountains, deep rooted, yeah. When you're deep is the right word then. Okay, so deep and difficult to swift away. That's a good example when you're, especially in non-movement, not so. Uh, okay,
Dense.
no, dense, layered, dense. You know, and remember the example of if you're on a highway and in winters and there's fog completely, or in the hills and it's foggy, and that fog is dense. You cannot clearly see through. That's the whole point. Gahana means you cannot clearly penetrate to see through. Your eyes don't penetrate to see the thing clearly. That's the world. And here your buddhi doesn't penetrate to see the topic clearly. And why? These two bhashyams will very clearly put it for us. We'll do it tomorrow, I think. Uh,
So दीप्ति जी जो हम कर्म कर रहे हैं वो ठीक से नहीं कर रहे हैं या हमें पता नहीं है कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं.
आप समझेंगे. अभी hold the question. Only after we finish this will you get more clarity. हम कर्म जिसको समझ रहे हैं पहले, हम किसे कर्म समझ रहे हैं?
वही जो हमें हमें दुनिया ने सिखाया है. मतलब अगर आप अपनी सब ऑर्गन्स ऑफ एक्शन यूज कर रहे हो तो आप कर्म कर रहे हो. अगर आप नहीं कर रहे हो तो आप नहीं कर रहे हो.
हाँ, बस that's it. So अभी के लिए we'll leave it at that. This is karma and this is akarma to us. Now Bhagwan is going to really tell us what is karma and what is akarma.
But it's actually quite confusing and
It is.
Getting quite confused about what we are actually doing and what it's really difficult to understand here.
That's why he's saying even the wise are get confused on this. So
we are
if
totally unwise.
not so, means the topic itself is such, and
Uh,
the bottom line will, of course, reveal to us uh, that what is, I think let's leave it. I don't want to add words and create more
But there's one
thoughts.
development, Deepti, that after coming into this line, by doing karmas, we know we do it with our organs, but there is a little attitude change has happened. That little Ishwar Arpan, whatever, as you said, something is there is a difference. That's all I can say.
Exactly, that is what he's actually going to bring back again. uh, this is the reasoning that is going to go through. There is a story, we all know this, you must have heard it, especially the 18th verse that is now to start um, here. Have I finished this? Oh, I haven't finished this. Okay, we can do the 17th verse also quickly. It's a small portion. There's nothing great in this passion. Karmanaha yapi bodhavyam. What is this karmaha? Shastra vihitasya. कर्म किसे कहते हैं? शास्त्र विहित को. Are we together? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So karma is called shastra vihitaha. He yasmad api, because also asti bodhavyam. You should know. You know. Bodhavyam cha asti eva vikarmanaha. You should also know. Very good, Bhavna. Correct. You should also know vikarma. What should be vikarma? Shankara says pratishiddha karma. Shastra विहित कर्म इज नित्य कर्म. कर्मणों का मतलब है शास्त्र विहित कर्म. Shankara says that. Vikarm is pratishiddha karm. Whatever shastras have said, do not do. Akarm means what? Tushnim bhava. Not doing anything, not employing your organs of action at all. That is akarm. Know these. Trishu api adhyahara kartavyaha. That bodhavyam is your kartavya. Trishu api means all three. You have to add kartavya to all three. Adhyahar means extended to all three. What should you extend? Kartavya, bodhavyam, karmanaha, kartavyah, bodhavyam, vikarmanaha, kartavya, bodhavyam, akarmanaha. You must know what is to be done, and what is to be done is Shastra Vihit Karm. You should know. We should not know that we should do Shastra Vihit Karm. We should know what are the Shastra Vihit Karm that we should do. Oh, there's a thin line. Most of us stop at the first sentence. We should know karma means Shastra Vihit Karma. But what are those Shastra Vihit Karma is what you should know and you should do. In the same way, what is pratishiddha and what is akarma? Yasmat gahana vishama durgneya. Difficult to know. Durgnyaha. It is difficult to understand. Karmanaha iti upalakshanartam karmadinam karma akarma vikarmana. Karma is an upalakshana for karma akarma vikarma. Gati he means yathatmyam. What I said, it's not to be taken as the way karma goes, moves, how it takes you from one janma to another janma, because we all know that karma phal takes us from janma to janma. Our samsara gati is determined by karma. That's not the meaning here of gati. Gati means yathatmyam. And what is that yathatmyam? Tattva. Know it in its essence, its swarupa. Know that. And so too, 17th verse. He also doesn't give much. Let's quickly do this. He yasmat karmanaha shastra bhetasya, same. Tattvam bodhavyam asti. You should know the essentially the vihit karmas. Karmanaha pratishiddhasya akarmana tushrim bhava. Common between both the commentaries. Atra vakyatraye api tattvam asti iti adhyaharaha. Here he says between all the three, now there are three sentences. Like I just made, kartavyam bodhavyam karmanaha, kartavyam bodhavyam vikarmanaha, kartavyam bodhavyam akarmanaha. These are the three sentences. Tattvam asti iti adhyaharaha. That tattvam, swarupam, you must add to all three. What Shankara said as kartavyam, he puts it here as tattva. So that kartavyam could be, as I have understood, and I said, you must know it. Madhusudanji adds tattvam. Essentially, you should know it. Yasmat, why? Because gahana durgnyaha. Durgnana. Durgnana. Because it is difficult to know. Karmana iti uplakshanam. Upalakshanam karma, akarma, vikarmanam. Karma is an upalakshana for all three. Gatihi, here is where Madhusudanji helped us. Gatihi means tattvam iti artha. Essentially, you should know. Is it okay? So, what is it between the two verses? See, what is our method of learning here? Our method of learning is every verse is helping to understand the next verse, and in itself is complete to give us a certain level of knowledge. And it cannot give us complete knowledge in one verse. Otherwise, why do we need 700 verses? Right? So, what is each verse giving us knowledge? We should consolidate that. So, all the other thoughts that come up in us, or all the other questions that come in our minds, will get addressed in the future portions. Will in the future verses. But in every verse, what is the point being made? You should pick up that point, because they will then keep adding to the next thought. Is that okay? Then there will be no confusion at all. Yeah, okay. Also to Sujata ji, because as you said that there's little confusion. So there should be no confusion if you just stick to what the verse is saying and pick up what the verse is telling us. There is no difference between Pratishiddha and Nishiddha. They are both meaning the same thing. Made popular at different times. So some teachers have used Nishid and some have used Pratishid. More into Hindi, mostly people use Nishid because Ni is the Upasarg, and more into Sanskrit, and they keep Pratishid. Meaning is the same for both of them. Okay. Yes. Right. So I think now we will end. And 18th verse is what is said. We all know this story. And as we are all feeling the tight meaning of these words that is to come, when Vyasa told Ganesh to write, the condition was Ganesh put back, Bhagwan Ganesha put back the condition. I will write only if you do not. No. Vyasa put the condition, you must write without stopping. And Ganesha, without understanding, you should not write. You should write with understanding. And Ganesha put back the condition that, what am I saying? My mind's completely. Anyone knows this story well? Vyasa said to Ganesha, you cannot stop writing. Yes, Vyasa said to Ganesha, you cannot stop writing. Ganesha said to Vyasa, you cannot stop dictating. And Vyasa said to Ganesha, you cannot write without understanding. So that's the thing I'm repeating. Vyasa said to Ganesha, you have to write as you understand, means keep understanding. And Ganesha had said you should not stop. So every time Vyasa, there are certain verses in Mahabharata, about from 1 lakh plus verses of Mahabharata. It is said there are about 8,000 plus, I've forgotten the exact number, 8,000 plus verses are, they're called Gudha. Gudha means difficult to understand. They take time to understand. There are about 8,000 plus verses in the entire Mahabharata of 1 lakh verses, which are breathers for Vyasa. He would purposely put one such verse in between so that Ganesha would take a little time to understand. In the meantime, Vyasa would bring on his next uh, level of verses he would compose in his mind, because that was a condition between the two of them. So 18th verse of chapter 4 is supposed to be one of those Gudha verses where Ganesha had to take a moment to understand, and that moment gave him enough. So it's a little more um, terse, but Shankara takes it as an advantage to do a lot of mimamsa here, because essentially a karta word will be understood as not the karta, I'm sorry, not the akarta how we understand not doing action, but akarta swarup mein, that Atma remains a karta and the kriya happens only in the deha adi. That's a nutshell. The one who's able to see that any kriya that's being done is only at the level of the upadhi, deha adi cheshta. The karta is there only. Atma is not a part of that at all. So, one who essentially sees what we are doing as what Madhusudan ji beautifully explains, dharmi adhyasena. Dharma, dharmi adhyas jo ho raha hai between the body, mind, senses, and me. So the activity is happening at the level of Maya Srishti, at the level of body and its gunas, as we saw. He said in the previous verse also, each one by their own prakriti, guna acts. There he said, guna guneshu vartante, and the one who knows it becomes freed. The same thing actually said here. This activity that remains in the gunas, by the gunas, the one who knows does not do the aropan of this kriya on himself is akarma. जो उस स्थिति में बैठ सकता है वो कुछ नहीं कर रहा. We'll elaborate this next time. I think I
Then
won't.
why add Ishwar Arpan?
It's a stepping stone for us who's not able to do direct contemplation
Okay.
for chitta shuddhi. Because without chitta shuddhi, you will not be able to sitting in that atma akarta bhav. When we will sit to shneem asanam. We will only restrain our organs of action. We will do no kriya. But not doing kriya does not give us moksha. When we will not do the aropan of this karma on ourselves, when we stop this and sit in that avastha, state of mind, which is the swarupam of Atma, उसको कहा है अकर्ता. वो कुछ नहीं करता, उसका सारा कर्म अकर्म है. ज्ञानी का कर्म अकर्म है.
कर्म संन्यास हुआ ना वो भी।
हाँ जी, हाँ, कर्म संन्यास is also a step. It's final karm sannyas. Finally, if you mean to say yes, then yes. So from means up to the end, it's karma sannyas. At the end, that total sarva karma sannyas. Okay, don't worry. We'll go again. We'll repeat this. Of course, uh, uh,
Deepti ji, can I ask a question?
Hanji.
You said that आत्मा कर्म नहीं करती है, शरीर कर्म कर रहा है, लेकिन जो हमारे कर्म होते हैं वो हमारे अकाउंट में भी तो जमा होते हैं, वो किस अकाउंट में फिर जमा होते हैं?
Yes. जो इस शरीर के साथ जुड़ गया है, उसका आज सोच या उसका बोध या उसका कॉग्निशन, सेल्फ कॉग्निशन अपने को लेके कौन सी है? What is the self cognition of a person who of anyone who has united with the body, mind, senses and calls himself, herself as I? What is that self cognition? If your self cognition is Aditi, that Aditi is सूक्ष्म शरीर पे आरोपित शरीर के गुण, धर्म. So Aditi thinks Aditi is this feet high, tall, this color, these qualities, etc. When she thinks like this to be herself and does karma, the karmphal comes into her account. But Aditi is only name and form. This will go away. But the karma account in the Sukshma Sharir will continue. And will, according to whatever the karma phal, will get another name and form. And that body will have another name. So Aditi in this birth will be Dipti in the other birth, etc. Atma will remain akarta in both births, in all the birth. Until Aditi knows Atma to be herself, where her self-cognition is that I am not this body and name and form. I'm none of these qualities. They only belong to this upadhi. Exactly what these verses are going to explain. When Aditi is clear that the whole kriya is happening only at the level of this external appendage that I have adopted for now, I dwell in it because I've got it from my past. Phal.
Which means the whole idea is we have to separate ourselves from, Aditi has to separate from what her true form really is. To understand this,
has to separate herself and know herself in her true form. So the form of Aditi, she will then know, is only mithya, is namarup. When she knows what is her true form, which is formless, which is Atma. So till then, what does she do? Till then, she has to use, because not shanamapi also not tishtati. You cannot even sit for a moment without doing any action. So because we are already set in motion and you're not to sit without doing anything, till then Aditi uses her name and form in a specific way where she detaches herself from the karma phal and keeps doing what she's supposed to do. That way the separation begins to happen slowly and the karma phal does not bind her in the first instance. Then later stage of the same attitude built up of the same attitude and knowledge would be that even the karta is dissolved.
okay. It's food for thought.
Food for thought. Yeah, you have to dwell on it. And as it keeps getting slowly trickles in, it'll keep adding the thought. Basically, the first food for thought is my actions have to be done as Karam Yoga. That opens the entire gate of knowledge, Atma Gyan.
When we did chapter 3, we had become little balanced, but now it has gone into again some confusion.
No, stick to that. That's the basis.
Okay, okay.
Keep. This is explanation of only Karam Yoga itself, but the advanced stage of Karam Yoga. कर्म योगी के मन में की अवस्था, अंतकरण की अवस्था, उसको लेके आएगी. अब धीरे धीरे it will move towards that. It's an entire text now, so it gives us a whole overview. We should stick to where we are in need of.
I think once you do tomorrow chapter verse 18, I think there'll be a lot of clarity.
Hopefully. Actually, verse 18, that's what I'm hoping. And just 1% chance. As of now, we are having a class. 1% chances, check your messages. There may be a possibility that I may not be able to take. 1% chance only. 99, we are having a class. Okay. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayaha. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave. Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha. Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshoparahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha. Om Shanti Shanti.
Dhanyavad Dipti ji.
Dhanyavad so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you,
everyone.
Deepti.
Thank
धन्यवाद
you.
दीप्ति जी.
Hari Om. Just stay with
Hari Om.
it. Hari Om everyone.
Recording stopped.
Yes, Hari Om everyone. Thank you so much.